An adorable little goody two-shoes who can back up anything he says with at least 10 different sources, why does Tails continue to tug at our heartstrings? We all know he's just a little guy with a heart as big as his brain, but is our love for him something tangible? Or is Tails just a clever marketing ploy by Sega to make us adore him unconditionally without question? Welcome to Tails Nexus, the only place where you might find yourself wondering if I'm pro Tails or anti Tails. Honestly, I love that you can't quite tell. It keeps things mysterious. But hey, in case you're still unsure, let me clear that up right now. Oh, I'm actually pro Tails. There, I said it. I know it hurts, but the truth will set you free. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's dive into the deep stuff. Today, we're going to explore the scientific, sociological, and psychological reasons why Tails, this adorable little goober, managed to worm his way into our hearts. And after that, I'll break down the different kinds of Tails fans out there into 3 categories. The surface fans, the super fans, and the he just like me for real fans. Stay tuned, it's about to get real. Let's start with the business side of Tails, and I'm actually kind of excited I get to dust off my old business studies research from high school for this. While I do genuinely love Tails, I'm fully aware that I've been expertly manipulated into liking him, and so have you. But hey, not all manipulation is evil. Sure, it sounds bad, probably because the word gets thrown around in awful contexts, but manipulation, at its core, just means influencing or guiding something in a clever way. And Sega? Oh boy, they are ruthless when it comes to manipulating us into loving Tails. These guys studied the assignment and aced it. So let's talk foxes. Not just Tails, but fox representation in media in general. Foxes are a complicated topic. People either adore them or absolutely hate them. There's rarely an in-between. A lot of folks can't look past their history as predators, especially in farming communities. Foxes have a long-standing reputation for being chicken coop raiders and land snatchers, and back in the 19th and 20th centuries, farmers had very little means to stop them. Even now, without the right tools, they're a nightmare to deal with. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all that, foxes are also seen as clever, sly, and even charming. They are often symbols of wit and trickery. Just look at the phrase, to fox someone. And yet, they're also considered adorable. Seriously, they're everywhere in marketing. You can't walk through a department store without seeing something with a fox on it. They're friend-shaped, fluffy, and playful. Marketing gold. And Tails? Sega capitalized on all that. But instead of leading into the typical fox archetype of being sneaky or mischievous, they went the opposite route. They de-vilified the fox. Tails isn't sly, he's timid. He's not cunning, he's kind. He doesn't trick people, he helps them. He's the fox that runs from danger instead of causing it. In essence, Tails is like a fox who's constantly in a state of uh-oh, and that shift in character reframes how we perceive not only Tails, but foxes as a whole. Sega didn't just make a marketable character, they rebranded an entire animal archetype into something softer, gentler, and more sympathetic. And it worked. Sega nailed the look, they nailed the heart, but where they really struck gold with Tails was in the soul. Because no matter how you dress it up, whether he's brave, scared, awkward, or even a little sassy, there's one unshakable truth about him. Tails is an underdog, and that matters. See, it doesn't really matter if he's a genius, or that he can build a plane out of scraps, or even that he can fly. What sticks with us isn't his achievements, it's the way he constantly doubts himself despite them. That tension, that quiet voice behind every win saying, was that good enough? That's what pulls us in. And that's why Sega, deep down, doesn't want to let him fully evolve. They tried in Lost World, gave him more confidence, made him snarky, and the response? Honestly, kind of brutal. Because once an underdog wins, they're not the underdog anymore. That struggle we connected with, it vanishes. And so, Tails stays in that limbo, caught between brilliance and insecurity, forever just a step behind. But maybe that's why we care so much. Why there's so much fan content where Tails gets hurt, breaks down, lashes out, or finally snaps. It's not just drama for drama's sake. It's a desperate wish to see him break free. We suffer with him because in so many ways, he's us. He's the anxious voice in our head. He's the kid who works twice as hard just to be noticed. He's the quiet one in the room, bursting with potential, who still asks, am I really enough? We love underdogs because they remind us of ourselves at our lowest, but they also remind us of who we could be. And that's what makes Tails so powerful. Not his machines, not his tails, not even his smarts. It's his struggle, his story, the way every little victory feels like our victory. We're not cheering for him to become the next Sonic, we're just hoping today's the day he stands a little taller, speaks a little louder, flies a little higher. And when he does, even for just a moment, it feels like everything. So yeah, Sega does manipulate us into loving Tails. But to boil all our affection down to just a clever marketing trick, that cheapens everything he's come to mean to us. Because here's the truth, you can be the smartest marketer in the world, the absolute GOAT of brand strategy. But at best, you're selling something temporary, a moment, a trend, a toy that ends up in a donation bin a year later. But Tails lasts. He's stuck with us for generations, and things that last, they connect. They mean something. You don't get decades of love from just being cute. Sure, fuzzy faces and big eyes can win hearts in the short term, but that kind of affection is surface level. It fades. It's soft and fleeting. It's easy love. But the love we have for Tails, it's not easy. It's grown alongside us. It's been tested by bad games, strange writing choices, even long gaps of silence, but it's still here. Because real connection, real love, comes from something deeper. It comes from seeing yourself in someone else, even if that someone is a two-tailed cartoon fox. It comes from watching a little guy fail, try again, and keep going even when the world doesn't take him seriously. It's loyalty built not just on what he looks like, but who he is when things go wrong. And that's why Tails isn't just some corporate success story. He's not a plushie with good PR. He's ours. He's earned his place in our hearts. Not through manipulation, but by quietly, consistently showing up as someone we believe in. And really, that's the kind of character who deserves to last. Alright, now it's time for one of the juiciest parts of the video. Our deep dive into the different types of Tails fans. Think of this like an iceberg chart, but instead of lost media or cursed Sonic creepypastas, we're talking about how far down the Tails rabbit hole you've gone. Or, well, foxhole? Two-tailed foxhole? You get it. This segment is all about breaking down why people love Tails, what draws them in, how that connection grows, and what it says about us as fans. And before we descend into the depths, let me just throw out a quick disclaimer. Being a certain type of fan doesn't make you better or worse than anyone else. We're not handing out trophies here, no gold medals for crying during Sonic Adventure 2 or liking Tails before it was cool. This isn't a competition, it's a celebration. Whether you love Tails because he's an engineering prodigy with a heart of gold, or just because he's got those cartoonishly massive eyes and anime hair fluffs, your fandom is valid. This is a judgment-free zone, no gatekeeping, no snobbery, just love. And probably a few jokes. Also, while you're watching, ask yourself, what kind of Tails fan am I? Reflect, meditate, or, type aggressively in the comments. I read all of them, and I genuinely want to know. Tell me how you first found Tails. Was it Sonic 2? Was it Sonic X? Did your cousin hand you a third-party GBA cartridge with Tails' face on it and just say, trust me? Whatever it was, it counts. That moment was your entry point into a lifelong bond with the boy genius. Let's kick things off at the top of the iceberg, with the surface level fans. These are the folks who see Tails once and immediately go, yo, that's a neat looking little dude. And honestly, they're right. There's just something inherently appealing about Tails from the get-go. Maybe it's the twin tails, maybe it's the bright orange fur, or maybe it's the fact that he's clearly the brains of the operation, but still runs around getting into chaos with Sonic. Surface level fans don't necessarily know all that yet, but they get the vibe. And that vibe is, he's cool, I like him, moving on. But here's the twist. Surface level fans don't always stay on the surface. This type of fan is like someone who walks past a bakery, smells something amazing, and keeps walking, but then pauses, and maybe comes back, maybe even peeks in the window. That's how it starts. They see Tails again, maybe in a YouTube clip or fan art or a cameo in Smash Bros or even just a meme. And that curiosity starts bubbling up. Wait, he can fly? And he builds robots? And he's 8 years old? Suddenly, they're on the wiki. They're watching old cutscenes. They're defending him in comment threads. and that's when the evolution begins. And sometimes they don't go deeper, and that's okay too. Some fans are happy to love Tails from a distance, just appreciating the vibes, the aesthetic, and the nostalgia. And honestly, that's still love. We're not measuring intensity here, we're just mapping the landscape. So to the surface level fans out there, we see you, we respect the vibes, you're the gateway fans, the spark that might one day become a super fan or just a casual enjoyer with excellent taste. Either way, welcome to the fan base. Now these folks, these are the ones who bleed orange and blue. Superfans are the people who've read every comic, played every game, 100%ed every single playable Tails level, and probably lost sleep over Tails' character inconsistencies between game timelines. If there's a piece of fan-made Tails content out there, a webcomic, a rewrite, a 7-part YouTube essay with 4 views, they've seen it twice. These fans treat Tails not just as a character, but as a lifestyle. They've memorized obscure cutscene dialogue, they know the exact shade of his fur in every generation, and odds are, they've got at least one piece of Tails trivia so specific and strange it sounds like they made it up on the spot. Like, did you know Tails' favorite anime is My Hero Academia? Okay, sure, it's not technically canon, but come on. Lore is lore, and superfans will find it, even if they have to manifest it through sheer headcanon. But here's what really makes a superfan. It's not just about knowing everything, it's about understanding Tails, his motivations, his flaws, the arc he's been trying to have across decades of inconsistent writing. These fans are the ones writing essays defending his character growth. They're the ones who see his emotional breakdown and forces and go, yes, that makes sense, while the rest of the internet is throwing tomatoes. They're also the ones with the most unhinged but brilliant theories mankind has ever known. The kind of stuff that makes you pause mid-scroll and go, wait, what if that is what the Twin Tails symbolize? They've got flowcharts, headcanon timelines, entire fanfics explaining why Tails actually did reverse engineer the tornado using alien tech and nobody just noticed. Basically, if a server level fans are the gateway, super fans are the full-blown cult, but like a friendly, well-researched, lovingly illustrated cult. We respect the grind, we fear the theories, and we absolutely want to hear more of them in the comments. Just like me for real! Now this tier, this is where things get real. These fans don't just like Tails, they are Tails. In spirit, in heart, in soul. They saw that two-tailed fox, nervous but brilliant, overlooked but loyal, and something just clicked. Maybe it was the way he stood beside heroes but rarely in the spotlight. Maybe it was how he tried anyway, tried to help, to build, to fix, to matter. Whatever it wasn't just admiration. It was recognition. These fans aren't here just because he's cute or cool, though he is. They're here because Tails is a lifeline, a comfort character, a reflection of who they are, or who they want to be when everything feels too heavy. Because in a world that doesn't always make space for quiet courage or gentle brilliance, Tails shows he can still be the one who saves the day. They kin him, they channel him, they get back up when no one's watching, because that's what Tails would do. These fans don't just keep the fandom alive, they create it. They make the art, the stories, the games, the edits, the dreams. They carry the legacy not because Sega told them to, but because something in Tails made them believe they could. And maybe that's what makes this group so powerful. They don't just support Tails, they embody the very thing that makes him timeless: hope. So when someone says Tails is irrelevant, these fans don't argue. They draw something, they write something, they build something. We are the ones who turn bad days into Tails days. We're the ones who see ourselves in a small fox with a big heart and decide to keep going anyway. And if you've ever looked at Tails and thought, he gets me, then you're already one of us. And we're glad you're here. And that's everything I've got to say on the topic for now. And let's be real, I'm definitely going to circle back to our favorite little fuzzball at some point. There's always more Tails to love. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and show it some love. Drop a comment and tell me, what kind of Tails fan are you? I want to hear it, whether you're surface level, full-blown super fan, or spiritually bonded to him through a weird shared childhood trauma arc. And hey, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome! You should absolutely stick around, especially if you want more Tails content, Sonic deep dives, or general chaos with heart. I'm not going anywhere. And as always, keep flying high.